Hey guys, Dustin here, CEO of 630. Today, I want to talk to you about electric bike brands. So, there's a lot of companies popping up right now making electric bikes, and it can be challenging to decipher all the different brands from one another. And I know I'm the CEO of 630, but I wanted to give everyone a basic rundown of all of the electric bike brands that exist out there today, and I'm also going to keep it in a tone with a very non-biased opinion, because really what I just want to help everyone, kind of educate everyone about, is what are some of the electric bike companies out there that people are talking about, people are riding, things like that. So with that said, what you're seeing in the electric bike market is you're seeing kind of two different or really three different types of bikes or brands when it pertains to electric bikes. You're seeing bike companies that are crossing over into electric, and they are producing electric bikes in addition to also producing their normal bikes. So it's an extension of their brand. The second thing you're seeing across electric bike brands is you're seeing new companies popping up that are just electric bike branded companies. And then the third type of electric bike brand you're seeing is really electric bikes that are coming from a company that maybe was dealing in something else. You know, they weren't in the electric bike market. They weren't in the normal bicycle market. They may have been making some kind of electronic component, or maybe it's a car company, and now they're spinning off into electric bikes as well. So sort of three different types of brands from different types of backgrounds. And I can tell you, in my experience, there's not one type of brand that is the leader because of how they evolved. There's a lot of companies that were making normal bikes that have great electric bikes. There's a lot of new electric bike companies that did nothing else prior, that just started with electric bikes that are great. And then there's a lot of electric bikes out there that are coming from companies that made other things, which General Motors is rumored to be making its own electric bike here coming up. I'm not sure if it's hit the market yet, but let's talk to you about what's out there right now and where a lot of people are turning. So there's two really sort of well-known electric bike companies that they started in electric bikes and they've grown their name. One of them is Pedego, and another one of them is Rad Power Bikes. Pedego is now I believe across the US, and has locations actually in many cities across the US. You can actually rent their bikes in these stores, and you can actually purchase them, and they also do sell online. So I've personally never ridden a Pedego, so I can't speak too much about it, but I do know the feedback is good. They have sold a lot of bikes, so they know what they're doing, and they've been doing it for several years now. They were actually one of the first ones to really get into the electric bike market and start scaling it up. They have a really wide selection, so it's a good place to check. And I believe William Shatner is their spokesperson, so kind of interesting, kind of funny. Anyways, Pedego is another one. So and they also have electric bikes in many different segments. So cruiser, they focus mainly in sort of in the comfort recreational realm, but they've got some cargo bikes, they've got some tricycles, they've got comfort bikes. So Pedego bikes. Moving into Rad Power Bikes, they're another company that has popped up that is specific to electric bikes. They haven't popped up, they've actually been around for several years now, and they've been gaining some traction, some name recognition. And they also make electric bikes in many different categories. They have sort of a mountain bike, off-road bike. They have, I believe a tricycle. They have a step-through sort of comfort bike. And so they have a wide variance. And again, I've personally never ridden a Rad Power bike, so I can't speak from a personal experience, but it seems like a lot of people are talking about them. They seem to enjoy the ride, and they're getting some accolades out there from some review websites that are talking about their products. So they're a good one to look at. Now we'll sort of segue into some existing brands, and I'll talk about two two brands that I think a lot of people know in the bike industry. One is Trek and another is Giant. So both of these two brands now have a pretty extensive lineup of electric bikes. And when I talk about Trek, I'm also sort of talking about Electra as well, because Trek owns Electra bikes. So between the two of them, they have a lot of different electric bikes and a great lineup. Now, the difference between Trek and Giant and the first two brands, Rad Power and Pedigo, is Rad Power and Pedigo you could purchase online. Trek and Giant you would actually have to purchase in store. But those are two brands that I can speak to, that Giant and Trek have both been around for a long time in the bike industry. So any product that they are going to put out, I'm certain that they will stand behind and quality will be good. Now, again, personal experience, never ridden either of their electric bikes, so I have to reserve opinion on my beliefs. But again, I see a lot of bikes out there, and I actually read an article recently where Giant, 50% of their sales now are actually coming from electric bikes. With that said, you have to think about Giant being a global company, as is Trek, but Giant sells a lot of bikes in Asia, also in Europe. So when you think about electric bikes, there's going to be a higher percentage of the bikes sold in Europe are going to be electric bike versus the US. However, that number is growing. And now, so another company moving into is a company called iZip. Now, iZip is actually owned by the same company Raleigh is owned by, and they've created a new brand, a new extension called iZip that is specifically for electric bikes. And they've also got some really great bikes, very cool designs. And again, coming from that company that Raleigh, is owned by as well, they really, really know how to make a good bike. And so I would take a look at them. I do know iZip in particular can be purchased online, so they're worth checking out as well. Now, in terms of other companies that are getting into the electric bike arena that maybe, were another company and an offshoot company, there's one company I can think of which is called Super 73. They've actually, it's kind of, it's a bike, but it's like a 70s style dirt bike, but it has pedals now and it's electric. They're really getting popular, especially out here in California. And it's not a traditional looking bike, but it's super cool. They actually, the parent company, I can't remember exactly what they did before, but they got into the electric bike scene and now they're doing really well. And so if you're looking for something that's sort of a crossover hybrid of a bicycle, but a motorcycle look, I would check them out. It's called Super 73. Super, super cool bikes. Totally different look. And kind of lastly, I mentioned it just now, GM is supposedly getting into electric bikes. The other thing too is Uber and Lyft. Now, Uber and Lyft are not making bikes for sale right now, but Uber actually owns a company called Jump. And so they're getting into the electric bike scene, but by way of rideshare. And so I think what we're going to see more and more as the electric transportation market in the US grows, more and more existing companies are going to start creating divisions specifically, targeting the e-bike market or targeting electric transportation, really two-wheel electric or three-wheel electric transportation, sort of the smaller transportation devices, so to speak. That would be good for more short range, right? If you're not getting in a car, things like that. So those are some electric bike brands I can think of. My suggestions, places to check out, take a look. The other thing too is if you have a local electric bike store, pop in down there. I know they're kind of growing in LA. I know there's one in the city of El Segundo. I think it's called the Electric Bike Store. And they'll have different brands there you can take a look at, or just go ahead and Google it. And then lastly, don't forget, 630, we have electric bikes as well. We are focused on comfort. So if you go to our website, if you're on our website, go to the top, go to electric bikes, or go to our website, navigate to the top, should say electric bikes right there. You can check them out. Now we're focused on comfort, riding position. We want to make sure whoever rides our electric bikes is super comfortable. So hope that helps. Any thoughts, comments, suggestions, ideas, please comment below. Always want to hear feedback. trying to give my non-biased opinion about the bike industry, specifically electric bikes. So any questions, don't hesitate to email us, the team at sixthreezero.com, or call us 310-982-2877. And if you don't know what our website is, it's www.sixthreezero.com, but that's all spelled out one word, sixthreezero.com. And don't forget, we actually have a 365-day return policy. So if you buy a bike from us, you don't love it, you can return it anytime within 365 days. And the coolest feature we have is our body fit tool. You can go on our website, enter your height, your weight, and answer some other questions, and we're gonna recommend the best bike for your body, whether it be a normal bike or electric bike, because at 630, we wanna make sure you love your bike.